Item 7, Diablo Village 2018 Development Agreement and Sales Agreement. This is related to agendas items number 16 and 17 on the consent. Is related to agenda items number 16 and 17 and consent calendar item number 19. I'll move the item.
Second.
Motion and a second. Objections?
Madam Chair,
Supervisor Miller.
I had to do a lot of reading on this one, and what I found on this is kind of disturbing. We are now part of these, we're back in 2007, this developer, which is Diablo Village Partners and Title Security Agent, is the trustee, conveyed to Pima County about 118 acres, is my understanding, the west lots. And they conveyed it to us for the taxes and fees owed to the county for roughly $1.5 million. And there are several issues on this, and now they want to give us back 4 acres, or they want us to convey back to them 4 acres, of which they had paid $29,250 to excavate some fill material out of that particular area. The flood district has said this appraised value for these 4 acres is $25,000. So if I take and apply that, and I understand times are different, but this was back in 2007, the land values were a little different back then. But we paid roughly $1.5 million, and if you take that in today's value, it's about $770,000. And we want to convey that back to them and give them credit for the $29,250 that they paid for excavation material. And also, so it's basically a swap, but we're also crediting them for $4,250. Or excuse me, yeah, $4,250 of credit so that they can use that toward any payment of fees due to the county. We already paid for this land once, and now we're giving it back to them. And there's a lot of issues with this as I look through it. They're gonna build a basin. And we have these 114 acres left that we're going to build a park on. Is that correct?
Mr. Huckleberry.
Yes, Madam Chair, and I think what's missing in this discussion is that the 2 roadways and the conveyance back for the right-of-way for the roadways, they're originally platted. The developer is going to build them at his own cost, and those basically become the primary access points to a new regional park.
Those 2 roadways?
Correct.
Yeah, they're giving those back to Pima County. Is that correct? Conveying them back? They were.
They're being dedicated back after the roads are approved.
Okay. And then bottom line, as I look through this, I just feel like this developer is getting a park built for free. Other developers don't get it. They have to pay for their own. And so I'm going to object to this, and I do note that these are some roads in these subdivision are going to be milled and filled as a result of the vote a few weeks ago on roads when other districts weren't allowed to do milling and filling. So I feel like this is a whole lot of preferential treatment going on for these 2 individuals, and I'm going to vote no.
Is there any other discussion? I'll call the question. Any objections?
I object.
1 objection. Any further objections? Hearing none, motion carries 4-1. Moving on to the Board of Supervisors sitting as a library district board. Item 8 is an acceptance of a grant. And I'll move the item.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Objections. Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on to the consent calendar. What's the pleasure of the board? Would anybody like to divide the question? Supervisor Miller.
I would like to call the question and vote on items 3, 5, 6, and 7 separately.
3, 5, 6, and 7. Thank you. I'll move the
Madam Chair.
remainder of consent.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 3, I'll move the item.
Second.
Motion and a second. Supervisor Miller.
I object.
Any further objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on